A little update on the subframe. So, subframe's still out. It's out at the fab guy across the street, Arc Asylum, Tyler. He's working on it as we speak, actually. And I bought a new truck, so that's one thing. So I can haul stuff around. And if we take a look in the back here, I have my shop garbage, and the lighting's a little junk. So I got my front control arms. I'm gonna be extending these for more clearance for my front wheel so that I stop rubbing on the tie rods and stuff like that. So I'm gonna bring those over. He's gonna extend those for me. He's working on the subframe right now. He's got the welding all done and everything. He's got it sandblasted, so we just gotta paint it. Let's get over there and I'll show you an update. So here's the subframe. Tyler's been working on it. He's got the axles boxed out, so I got plenty of clearance there. He's got the subframe mounts welded in. Everything looks beautiful. Definitely glad I know a good fab guy. Super excited to get this done. And then diffs over here. Just gonna clean this up quick and just throw some high temp paint on it just so it looks a little nicer than it does already. So I've been doing a bunch of stuff, which you can't tell anything from here. Other than I did get a bash bar for the front because there was actually a liquidation sale. So I ended up buying that guy for cheap. And then I made some super custom oil cooler mounts here. Just a couple of zip ties to hold this thing on. I might need to add a couple more just for strength or something. I'm not exactly sure. But then I've been doing some work under the car. Down here I've done a couple things. I added the sideways fab solid trans mounts. I drained down the trans. I replaced my throw bearing because it was getting pretty junky. Then I put in the sideways fab solid motor mounts. The clutch was still good, surprisingly. There's still a decent amount of life left in it, so I'm keeping the same clutch, just different throw-up bearing. I greased everything up real nice like. I ended up selling my MPC arms because I got these PBM arms a while ago for dirt cheap, so I'm going to be running those. I also ordered PBM traction arms and tow arms, so I have to wait for those to get in, and then I have to just replace all the hardware on my subframe. Whoa, it's the FRS. I'm making a video on it again. So I haven't made any videos on the FRS in quite a while. I've been super busy with like work and just life and working on it. So it's like by the time I get off of work, I don't really want to go home, grab the GoPro, make sure the video or make sure that the batteries are charged, then bring the GoPro out here and then film while I'm working. It's usually pretty stressful already, so I'm just gonna do kind of like a big update video on all the stuff I've changed and kind of like my goals for this year and things like that. So we'll start out with the interior. So as far as the interior, a lot of it's the same. So I still have the Innovate oil pressure, oil temperature gauge, so I can see my oil temp and pressure at the track. I still have like the hydro, IRP shifter and everything. I have Sparco seats now. The stock seats didn't hug me very well, so like my back was starting to hurt from constantly like pushing my back into the seat with my leg. And another thing I was doing too is I was kind of like planting my left foot on the dead pedal because, or like the fake pedal, I don't know what it's called, because I was like moving back and forth in the stock FRS seat. So this one hugs me a lot more. That should help a lot. It sits about the same height as the stock seat probably because these rails are a little goofy and the seat is super wide, and this is falling apart here. These seats are from like 1992 or something. I don't know. They're last certified in 97, but it says 92 on there. I don't know what that means. But anyways, got the Sparco seats in here. I also have fire extinguisher for tack. Other than that, everything's pretty much the same. I threw a phone charger in there, a wireless phone charger, because my phone sucks and the charger thing doesn't work very well, whatever. So moving on to the engine bay, so I still have like the Mishimoto oil cooler, the overflow, radiator, fan shroud, hoses, all that stuff. I had a coolant leak last year, and that's because I put all the Mishimoto stuff on and I used the stock clamps for the hoses, and they didn't clamp enough, so I was leaking coolant out of there. I've driven the car a bunch on the street this year so far and haven't had any cooling issues. The car didn't overheat or anything last year. It was just the coolant was continuously getting lower and lower and lower, and I was filling it nonstop, and it was just stressful. I also added these hood prop rod things from 86 Speed. Those things are a lifesaver because now like I just have to open my hood and it just goes up. I don't know, super nice. Some reservoir socks, again a past tech. Other than that, engine bay is the same. Drivetrain stuff, so I put a new throw bearing in because my old one was toast. I've got solid engine mounts, solid transmission mounts from Sideways Fab, so that's going to help a lot. For the diff, I have like the Part Shop Max diff risers and subframe risers, so it raises the diff up so I don't break the axles like I did last year, which sucked because I didn't have a spare axle. So I had to like buy some and have somebody run them out. That was stupid. But that should be all fixed now. Moving on to suspension. So I replaced my coilovers. That was probably the most important thing I've done. And that's because my old coilovers were just really old and seized and just really crappy overall. So I got those guys replaced with these Part Shop Max comp coilovers. Front and rear, just the normal spring rates, 10K front, 8K rear. See how those feel. They feel amazing on the street. Like the car feels a lot more comfortable. Or I feel a lot more comfortable driving the car. It's awesome. Also in the front, I did extended lower control arms just to clear everything a little bit better, a little bit more angle. I have to use a 1-inch spacer still with the SSRs to clear the tie rods. I do have longer inner tie rods now, which you can't see, and then just the Moog outer tie rods, Moog lower ball joint, and then stock like strut bolts and everything. There's no camber bolts anymore. I got rid of those since I have the lower control arm. I just want everything to be like as sturdy and reliable as possible. So that's for the front. For the rear, I changed pretty much everything. So the first thing you'll notice is that I've got shiny hardware everywhere. Shout out to MPC, those guys are awesome. Giving plug deals on the hardware for my car. I'm super appreciative of them. They were really good with working with me on like getting all the hardware set and everything, and like figuring out sizes and going back and forth on like, I need this, and I'm like, oh shit, no, I need that, and then they'd change the order and get it shipped out to me. Let's see. So I did the Part Shop Max diff and subframe risers like I mentioned before to help the axle geometry. So the car is dumped and the axles aren't that bent, so that's nice. I did Part Shop Max lower control arms, tow arms, and traction arms. I have to put the traction arms on yet because they were back ordered. The coilovers. The diff has just like a diff gasket now and it's painted so it looks pretty. Exhaust, I'm doing like a full Tomei exhaust. So I already had the Tomei equal length header over pipe. And then I bought a 60R used because I wasn't sure how I was going to like it. I love it. So then I ordered the Tomei 60mm titanium test pipe. So my exhaust will be super light this season. I'm just waiting on the exhaust because that's back ordered. The control arm or the rear traction arms, I already have, I just have to throw them on. The outside's pretty much the same except my wing's falling off, my side skirts are falling off. Everything's falling apart, but everything's the same. I think the only thing that's different on the outside is I have like the fog light inserts, and that's just because I had them laying around and I lost one of the non-fog light ones, so yeah, whatever. It happens. Other than that, everything is the same. So as far as like goals and stuff like that for this year, so I'm planning on driving at least twice a month at GLD. So I'll be going to just testing tunes all the time. I've got Drift Trailer 2.0. I cut a spot for the wheels to sit in, then the straps go through, and I've got like a pack out system. So I kind of went balls to the wall this off season and kind of just finished up all the little shit that I found out last season. You know, last season being my first season, I was able to drive and just nitpick at all these little things I didn't like about my car.